Morena tātou. We'll get started. We'll start with an opening Karakia, please. Tutawa mai I ronga, tutawa mai I raro, tutawa mai I roto, tutawa mai I waho. Kia tau ai te Māori tū, te Māori ora ki te katoa, haumi e, hui e, tai kia, ngā mihi nui. And I'd like to just acknowledge, this is very, very echoey for some reason. I don't know why. Try turning the volume down on it or something. Move it away. I'd like to thank and acknowledge Frank Kingy-Thorne for putting this together. Those of you who haven't seen it, it's a fabulous idea. And hopefully he'll be able to get those around the rest of the community boards as well. So I'll call for apologies and attendance, and just acknowledging that we've got Reka, Terry and Gary online, and Reka has flagged that she needs to be in and out during the day, and I think Peter also at some stage in and out. So we'll just work through Ari on those, please. Are there any other apologies? There being none, we'll move straight to public forum. Who's up first? Is it Bill? Bill, please come forward. Yes, please. And just while we're waiting for Bill to get settled, I just want to acknowledge the passing of Merv George. Those of you from the Mercury Bay area would know Merv. He's an absolute giant in the Mercury Bay community, and his loss will be greatly felt. There'll be a funeral on Saturday at 10 o'clock at the fire station. I'll be attending, and I'm sure there'll be others there as well. So, Bill, over to you. You have 5 minutes, and we'll at the 4-minute mark, we'll give you a bit of a little wave.
Yeah,
Thank
hopefully
you.
I won't take that long.
Okay,
Your Worship, the Mayor and the Councillors, thanks for hearing me today. I'm coming here on behalf of no one, only myself really, but of the Cook's Beach people who were affected by the flooding that we had 16 months ago. And I was just wondering, I've got a few questions, and I think this gentleman might have heard them before, and certainly the gentleman, the Mayor has. I just wondered, are the rest of the council members, are they aware of the problems that we have faced at Cook's Beach with the flooding? And how have you been updated? It's just a question, please. And another question is, what is the council strategy if we have another weather event as Cyclone Gabrielle? Are we better prepared than we were before then? Again, I don't want to moan about it. I just want to get some answers. I'm just, you know, just asking questions. This event happened over 16 months ago, and we haven't made any progress. And I can't see any practical work that has been done to alleviate the problem, which I'd like, if I could be told what's been done, it would be good. But it doesn't seem to me any practical work. And in January, we had a residents meeting at Cook's, and Your Worship the Mayor attended, which was great. And that we thought some of this work, this practical work, might have started in February. Can we have an update on that, please? Or can I have an update on that? And I'll go back to my dollars and cents, Your Worship. At that meeting, it was stated as approximately $2.56, and I'm not sure whether that's the right amount, of the rates instalment money that's taken in is spent on stormwater works. It's the percentage, you know, you'd have that. I haven't noticed any stormwater money being spent at Cook's Beach for the best part of 25 years, or where we are in the older part of Cook's Beach. We'd like a little bit of that money shared back to us, please, if we can. Even if it's $1 of the $2.56, a buck would be nice to come back to do some of the work. Another point is that there was a committee or a subcommittee of the Mercury Bay Community Board, thank you, was set up, and it's had 3 meetings. And I'm not sure what's been achieved by this. We don't seem to get many updates on it, and I harped on that at the Mercury Bay Community Board meeting. And who does this committee report to? That there's no agenda item on the Mercury Bay Community Board meeting. That was the 17th of April. There's no agenda item on this meeting as well. Have we forgotten about it? Is it just being put under the carpet, swept under the carpet, this problem we have of stormwater? I go on about the cost of our place was badly affected, and our bottom floor was completely flooded, and the insurance claim was over 150k just for my place. Now there were probably another 40 odd people. Was that 5 minutes?
That's your 1 minute to go.
Oh yes, sure. I'll hurry up then. I've got
Gentle,
just a couple.
Gentle reminder.
And of course our insurance premiums are going sky high, and so that's really starting to hurt. I see that maybe the Cook's Beach stormwater is in the 10-year plan, maybe. I'm not sure about that. I haven't read that completely, but it needs to be something spent now, unless we're going to have another disaster. You know, do the simple jobs first, the swales and the clearing of the stream edges, and addressing the lake. There's 2 lakes there, addressing those outputs. Fairly simple, quick jobs with diggers and manpower. And 2 things, just the last 2 things. I believe the council, the Thames District Council, put a note on our LIM reports at Cook's Beach about the flooding. I haven't got a LIM report, but I just wondered if that was true or not. And a way of funding, if we can't get funding, we could put a special targeted rate on the people at Cook's Beach to just fund some of this work. And thank you so much for hearing me out. I appreciate it again. Thanks so much, Your Worship.
Thank you, Bill. And I just want to thank you also for presenting your issues and your questions in a fair and reasonable manner. We appreciate that there are concerns. I'm going to do 2 things. I'm going to ask a couple of questions and then ask the councillors if they have any questions. First of all, have you gone through a process of making a submission to our LTP on these specific issues for Cook's Beach and for yourself?
No, I didn't. There was Frank, and I don't know his surname, sorry, he's a neighbour. He put in a submission, and I thought that sort of was the submission that I wanted to put in. So does it go by numbers, or is that just one submission's fine? Yeah.
No, look, thank you. That helps if somebody from Cook's Beach has worked with you to address that. The other question I have is, with the Stormwater Working Group in Cook's Beach, have you not been kept in the loop with them? Are they not communicating with you about the work that's underway? Is there a gap in that information?
There is a gap. So I have to request the minutes, which I did through the council here. Got 2 sets of minutes. But their meeting was the beginning of April. maybe the 5th of April, which I wanted to attend, but I couldn't. And I haven't heard another thing. Rika, is it? The lady she rang me the other week, said someone was going to give me a call. Okay. So, yeah, she's contacted.
Thanks. Deli might have some more information on that, and then we'll come to Peter if that's all right.
So Rika sits on the Cook's Beach stakeholder group, and I sit on Austin Drive and Matarangi, and it was raised with Rick Houston, who's doing a great job, that there needs to be maybe an update statement that's more widely shared with each of those communities. So at the moment you're having to request those minutes, but really what should be happening, and it is in the pipeline, is that there will be a summary, is that correct, Mo? And that will be put into Facebook or sent out to affected residents.
Thanks, Deli. Peter, and then Reka's got a hand up as well, so she might be able to add some more information.
Thanks, Len. Peter Real, Thames Ward Councillor. I just want to echo what Len said. The clarity and evenness of your presentation was really appreciated.
Thank you.
My only question is just, you're here representing yourself, you said at the beginning. Just whereabouts in Cook's Beach are you?
We're second property in from the reserve.
Captain Cook.
Right. No, it's in Bank Street.
Okay.
Thanks, Peter. Reka?
Yeah, hi, thanks, Len. Morning, Bill. We did speak last week, I think it was, just during the school holidays. And our area manager is away, but what we're trying to do is have the minutes from the 3 stormwater working groups in Mercury Bay included in our board paper and our community board papers, so that order papers, so that that is publicly available on our website. I've asked that question. We're just waiting for our area manager to come back so we can get a few answers, but it seems like that might be a way forward so that those minutes are more readily available and accessible to the public. And as we discussed on the phone, Bill, there is some $1.9 million in the proposed LTP for stormwater works in the Cook's Beach area. And I had asked Brett, I know he is going to give you a call, perhaps you guys haven't connected, to just give you a quick call and talk you through some of the processes around this very, very technical stormwater issue.
Thank you, Reka. We have a question from Martin. I'll just remind Bill and councillors, thank you for asking questions. The format does not allow us to take questions from you. Councillors can ask you questions for clarification, but you've clearly identified that there's some things there that can be followed up offline. So thank you. Martin.
I'll definitely ask this as a question. Just about the long-term plan submissions. So are you aware that on behalf of the Cook's Beach Stormwater Community Engagement Team, Frank Geoghegan has done a submission?
That's correct.
On
yes.
that.
Yes, yeah, I was aware of that submission, yes.
Yeah. Okay. If there's no further questions, Bill, thank you so much for making the journey here and for the, as I said, the evenness of your presentation. Much appreciated.
Yeah, thank you for hearing us. We will. Will I get a reply, or what happens? Yes.
So the Mercury Bay councillors and the staff involved in that working group will get back to you. So work through your Mercury Bay councillors.
Yes. Yeah.
Thank you.
What I just wanted to do is, sorry if I'm taking up, just to make you aware of that the problem hasn't gone away, and it's really is serious. And like I said, our mayor here, a little text that when we're getting flooded again, and
we are well aware of it.
Yeah,
don't you worry.
Thanks very much. I'll just bring it to you for to your attention. Thanks for your time, and
Bill, thank you.
have a good meeting. I know you will. You'll do the right things. So.
You're welcome to stay all through the rest of the day if you like.
No, I'll get on my way back. Hey, thanks so much.
Thanks, Bill. We did have one other public forum presentation, but from Kim Smith. I don't think he's arrived, not online, so we'll move on. We can move on second, please, for public forum. Robin and Delhi, all those in favour? Thank you.
Aye.
Any items not on the agenda? There being none. Any conflicts of interest to declare? There being none, we'll move on. We will go to external minutes for receiving. And we've got Karakia Golf Forum, Waikato Civil Defence, Regional Transport Committee and Integrated Catchment Management Committee. What I would like to suggest is I'll get a mover and a seconder to receive these reports, and then I'd like to ask if any of the councillors involved directly in those committees have anything that they would like to report back on or add. Otherwise, we can just move on to receiving. So Peter, move. The seconder, please. Martin, thank you. Dali, did you have anything that you wanted to comment on the Ariki Golf Forum?
Just that we've got more spots of Kalupa springing up all over the place. Also, the co-chair, Nicola McDonald, was awarded in the New Zealander of the Year environmental contribution. She received an award for that. And finally, that our lovely Alex Rogers, who's the executive officer for HGF, has got another role, but he will actually be attending HGF meetings, but in a different capacity. And at the moment, and I can't remember her name, starts with T. There's an acting. Not
Katina.
Katina, that's
Katina
right.
Economist,
Well, it had
yeah.
a T in it. It started with K. Is acting executive officer. But yeah, all going well, and that's a true and correct record of the meeting I attended. Thanks.
Sure, thank you. Could I just ask Rita, since you're here, could you please take a note? Let's do a letter of congratulations to Nicola, please, and a letter of thanks to Alex Rogers. Waikato Civil Defence Emergency Management Group. Councillor Grant, I'm not sure, were you able to attend that?
I was not there. Terry was attending.
Oh,
so.
Terry, okay. Terry, anything to
Yes.
add? Anything of note?
Yes, the committee was a very quick committee meeting this time, mainly because a lot of the decisions that were going through the emergency management meeting were being deferred by government till December. But there was the selection of 2 new officers, protection officers. I can't remember the right terminology. They were actually selected on the day. But apart from that, there was not a lot of action at the meeting itself.
Okay, thank you, Terry. Regional Transport Committee.
Sorry.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Then could I just add one thing to that? I think the other point of real relevance at the moment is the paper that has been submitted by government in regard to the post review of the storms and activities and civil defence's response to that. I know that we've already had communication from the regional council. There will be further dialogue around this, and the application of the learnings that have come out of that will act around the place. So that's the main topic, I think, that's sort of on the table at the moment.
Thank you, John. Yeah, I have read that report. Slightly disappointing that there wasn't acknowledgement of the good work that was done in our area, and we're kind of lumped in with the rest. But it is what it is. Regional Transport Committee, probably, if you don't mind, John, I'll comment on this. The hearings were held last week before last, and it was absolutely fabulous to see the level of support and input from our community and from every single community board in Thames Coromandel District presented at that hearing. Really, really good support, and it's been noted and acknowledged around the table. So that doesn't directly relate to this report, but it's all part of that same picture. So we wait and see what happens next, and there's still a lot of movement in that area. Aileen, did you have anything that you?
Later in the agenda, we have a section 17A review discussion around roading, which is BAU, but it's also the resilience program. So I've asked Stephen to come over to be part of that item so we can have a bit more of a discussion around some events that have happened in the last few days that we can report to you.
Okay. Lynn, can I just say
Please
one
do.
word about that? Yeah. Not every day in council is a good day, but that was actually a very, very good day over in Hamilton, and I was really pleased to be there representing TCDC. I was approached, and I'll just recap on what Len said, by a number of the members of that committee about how good it was to see our community boards showing a united front with council and doing their presentation. I took those kudos, although it wasn't actually me that came up with that idea. Obviously, it was led by Aileen, but it was noted by other councillors. And yeah, we could be quite proud of the way the community boards presented that day.
Thank you, John. Last one is the Integrated Catchment Management Committee, and I guess I've got a bit of a question mark. Martin, are you involved in that? I've lost a little bit of the thread here of what's going on with that.
Yes, that's a subcommittee of that. And I had to put my apologies in for the last one because we were on holiday. But okay. Yes, I've attended first one of their meetings.
All right.
Over in Pyra.
So no comments to make on the 11th of April meeting? All right, no. Okay. Okay, so the mover and the seconder for the receiving of these reports, are you happy to take all of those reports as mover and seconder of that, and we put the motion? All right, thank you. All those in favour? Fabulous, thank you. Okay, we are going to item 1.7, which is minutes for receiving and confirmation. Let me get to the right page. Okay. 34, thank you. Okay. So we've got community board minutes. We've got Sustainability and Resilience Committee. We've got Risk and Assurance Committee. And what I'd like to suggest is that we take those as a block, unless there's any issues with that. So I'd like to get a mover and a seconder, please, for items 1 through 8 for the receiving of the minutes.
Before we do that, can I ask a question?
Mm-hmm.
If I have a concern about one of the recommendations coming from these minutes, am I able to do anything about that at this point? So just being a bit more specific, I was obviously on leave. I was not able to attend the Thames Community Board meeting. There's a recommendation that's come to us for approval, and all I've been able to do is to read the information, and I kind of think I'm not quite sure that I'm comfortable about that. But I wasn't at the community board meeting. I didn't have that opportunity to talk to it, and I'm just, it's a procedural question. Yeah.
Okay.
You know, whether in fact there's anything that can be done about that.
So thank you for reminding me. and I know that Ari was just about to tap me on the shoulder. So the Thames Community Board recommendation from the meeting held on 10th of April about the lease on the car park spaces. There's been a request from Donna that this be deferred because there's more information that she would like to present to council, and that needs further consideration and discussion by council. So what I'd like to propose is that we take the Thames Community Board 10th of April meeting, and we remove that from this,
Through the chair,
this parcel.
can we please just do recommendation 2 first, which is to receive all the minutes?
Mm-hmm.
And then can we work through each recommendation? That would be my suggestion.
Board.
So it's clear.
Board by board, or the other numbers on here?
The other numbers, please.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you. So Councillor Grant, Councillor Rodley. All right, that's to receive the minutes. Item 2. All those in favour? Thank you. All right, so we're going to go to item 3, Tairua Pawanui Community Board recommendation. Could I get a mover and a seconder for that, please?
Happy to move.
Terry, thank you. Seconder. Councillor Rodley, thank you. Any discussion on that? There being none, all those in favour?
Aye.
Aye.
Item 4. Now this is the one, sorry, that's 21st of February. So can I get a mover and a seconder for item 4, please? Robin, thank you. And Martin, thank you. All those in favour?
May I ask a question about this?
Thank you. Yeah, Rekha.
Thanks. I just wanted to know, is that work underway? Is it complete? The business case?
Underway.
Sorry, did you say is that work underway?
Yeah. The business case for the pool, is that
Underway.
is that work underway, or is that work
Okay, so
completed?
I'm getting nods and affirmations here. So yes, it is underway. Is
It's
that answer?
underway and on track to be finished by the end of the financial year.
I don't know the answer to that. So
I understand that we're expecting a presentation in July to Community Board.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
okay, thank you. All right. If there's no further questions, all those in favour?
Aye.
The next item, item 5, is the one to do with the 10th of April Community Board, Thames Community Board meeting, and the proposal is that that is deferred. Could I get a mover and a seconder, please? I'll move. Do we need to get the wording of that? Or just, okay. So we have alternative wording for 5B, which basically just says defers the Community Board recommendation so that further information, there you go.
Through the chair, what we would like to do is continue to approve the sublease, which is the other recommendation that came through from the Thames Community Board, but we are suggesting that the one on the Thames Civic Centre be deferred.
And we're going to have more information coming through from Donna. So okay.
I'm really
So
happy to
just for
see
clarity, we're approving 5B, but not 5A. Right, thank you.
Okay. So do we have a mover and a seconder for that? Robin and Peter, thank you. All those in favour? Thank you. Item 6, Colville Coromandel Community Board recommendations. License to occupy, you've got it in front of you. Can I get a mover and a seconder, please, for item 6?
Happy to move it.
John, Daly, thank you. All those in favour? Thank you. Item 7, Mercury Bay Community Board recommendations for meeting on 17th of April. Can I move in a seconder, please? Daly, thank you. Seconder.
I'll second.
Thank you, Reka. All those in favour? Thank you. That takes us to item 8, which is TCDC minutes for 5th of March. Can I get a mover and a seconder, please? Sally, Peter, all those in favour? Thank you. Thank you, team.
Through the chair, just before we close off on that one, can we just please note that we need to make a change to the bottom of page 127, where we discuss the governance policy statement. There needs to be the inclusion of on land transport. The wording there.
Bottom of page 127.
The last bullet.
Oh, that
The
one
last
there.
bullet point, we need
So
to
that's
include the words,
government policy statement.
yeah,
So
on
it's
land transport.
halfway up the page, Chief Executive Report, last bullet point, Thames Coromandel Town Connector Bus. Government policy statement.
On land transport, yeah.
On land transport. Okay, so subject to that, we've already passed that motion. No problems? Okay. Right. We're going to item 2.1, proposed amendments to standing orders.
I'm happy to move that.
Thank you. Says the person online who's directly affected by this. So this is page 131. Thank you. This is very straightforward. It's a procedural motion. All those in favour?
Aye.
Thank you. It's carried. Thank you. Item 2.2, Community Board Delegations on page 135. So just to be clear on this, the proposal is that the current terms of reference for community boards are retained. And I'll ask Donna to give us a bit of an update on where we are at this moment.
Good morning, everybody. I'm just trying to get to it. What page number is it, Ari?
136.
Thanks, everybody. So I'll take the report as read. There's quite a lot of information in there. The purpose of writing this report really was to provide some more information to you around the community board delegations. Also, as Mayor Led has alluded to, is to seek approval from you to retain the current terms of reference until after the representation review has been completed. And also, in the mix there is we looked at the community board's discretionary budget. And you'll see from in the report that it's been at that same level of $20,000 per annum per board for quite a long time, actually, since it came in, basically. So if you look at inflation, you'll see that actually it's definitely not worth the 20,000 that it was worth back then. It's definitely now. So we are making a recommendation that we increase that. But just in remembering also that through the LTP process, there is a proposal to combine the discretionary
budgets with the contestable grants, so to make those non-contestable, am I right? Yeah. So basically what I'm proposing with this report is separate from that thing, is to actually just have increase the base discretionary fund to 30,000. And fourthly, the report also talks a bit about past and current financial reporting and provides a bit of context about that, because there's been quite a bit of debate around this table about the financial reports that used to go to the community board. So I've just provided a bit of information on that. So I'm happy to take any questions.
Thank you, Donna. I'll go Robin and then John Grant, please.
Thanks, Donna. And I appreciated the report. I appreciated all that background. And when it comes to it, I'm happy to move as a whole. I just had a question about number 3 in terms of the process, because we haven't actually adopted the LTP yet, and we've still got all of that to go. So,
that's right.
You know, we might come to a completely different conclusion after hearing all the submissions and the having all those deliberations about what we do with those grants. So does that, and this is probably a governance question rather than a Donna question, but does that resolution as it stands, the recommendation as it stands, flexible enough, or is it correct to say that?
Through the chair, I think I would assume so, because this would be the base.
It all hinges on the word base.
Yeah, it would be the base, and it would come through. It would come through to you through the deliberations process, as some of the other budget things that will be discussed with you. So it will come through there.
Okay.
So the deliberations process as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if we decided that we were going to cut all the discretionary for next year or change it all to contestable, we wouldn't be hamstrung by this resolution here, because this is talking about the base that we could be using. Perfect. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Robin. John, please, and then Deli, and then
much.
Peter.
I appreciate the report. The questions that I have, first of all, has this been allowed for in the LTP? Change to the...
It's not, no, not yet, it hasn't.
So there would be a change. And the other comment I had was that rather than a flat amount of 20 going to 30,000, is there any consideration around the varying sizes of each of the areas? Because I saw 2 or 3 tables which illustrate quite clearly that some areas are twice, 3 times the size of the others, and obviously get different demands on them as a result of that, to have a discretionary amount that would be related to the size. So, you know, it's collecting a standard $2 on each rate, whatever that amount was for a particular area. Has that ever been considered?
Well, that's a consideration. It isn't an option that I've put in with this paper, but with what's been proposed through the LTP is that different level, not for the base, but for the combining the grant funding, making that part of the discretionary funding there. That will be different for every community board, because that is based on, I'm not sure what it's based on, but it is like a level. So, like, for example, some community boards have more money available than others, depending on their size.
John,
yes, that's definitely an option.
John, it's probably worth pointing out this is terms of reference to all of the community boards, and the amount of the grant funding, of the discretionary funding, has to be addressed in that terms of reference. So the only way around that, they have a different terms of reference community board, which starts to get complicated. I think what Donna's saying, correct me if I'm wrong, is that it's addressed in the LTP rather than in the terms of reference. Does that make sense?
It does, and that was the reason from the question around has been allowed for in the LTP, yes. And I think the answer to that was no. So just really flagging that there's a need for a discussion around this at some stage, because the demands, you know, in certain areas, you know, I know Mercury Bay discretionary amounts are very low, but it has twice the number of rateable properties. So flagging an issue.
Delhi?
So John stole one of my questions, but the other one is when do we think we'll have the representation review tied up? What's the time frame on that?
I'll defer that to Ari because she's the expert on the timeline of that.
Through the chair, I think that needs to be tied up at the end of December because it has to be ready for the next election, which is next year, 2025.
And the proposal for the terms of reference would be that we would have that ready for the next election. So, you know, that would come into effect after the next election.
I'd also like to raise, it was interesting because I was obviously around in Glenn Leach's time, as were you, Donna, and to see Angela Jane's take on that devolved community empowerment. One of the things that sticks out to me, and I'd just kind of like to park this for a discussion at some point in the future, is that strategic planning and development was one of the things that was moved to district. And I think, speaking parochially, Mercury Bay has suffered a lot because of that, because we are almost wantonly developing at the moment, and we just need to have eyes on that, or a little bit more control or say in what's going on in our ward. So support some increased reporting, and perhaps even consider that bringing back the input into resource consents. So those are just a few things I'd like to flag that we probably need to have a bit of a discussion after that representation review has been done.
Thanks, Delhi. Peter?
Yeah, so it was just on the same lines. I think it's important that we manage expectations around terms of reference. So Donna, thank you for your paper and all the background stuff. I found that really useful. The idea of looking at the terms of reference, to me, really does make sense once the representation review is done. And also you add in there, once we understand more about the implications of Three Waters and you know where that all goes. I think that all that makes sense, and I'm really happy to support that. But I think we do need to make sure we manage the expectations of our community boards really effectively in terms of helping them understand what the time frame for changes around terms of reference.
Thanks, Peter. Martin?
Yes, and I think you're completely right, Peter, about that expectation, and we just need to really make sure that we're making clear to the community boards that we're not just carrying this on and forgetting about ignoring their various concerns around empowerment, etc. It's also just speaking to John Grant's point about that, the 20,000, 30,000. I know that in the past, different community boards have chosen to locally fund different levels of the discretionary. And I know in Thames, we are always quite keen to keep that bumped up. So it did sort of look, from an outside person would look at it and go, oh, okay, so Thames has got, 85,000 plus 20,000, that's 100,000. And some of the other community boards, for whatever reasons, might have been down in the 40 or 50, but a lot of that was decided by those community boards as to how much they wanted to rate their community for those amounts. So, that figure doesn't always, it needs some understanding around that figure. Then I think also the third point would just be around that that base funding, and whether we talk about should it be on a per ratepayer, should it be based on some sort of deprivation index, should it be based on how many rates are collected? There's all sorts of ways you could do it, but yeah, I believe that representation review will give us more a clearer picture to then be able to go forward and say, okay, this is how we'd like to look at resolving some of the issues about empowerment. So, and there's no way we can get all that done in the current time frame. So I will support continuing the terms of reference, and yeah, just really looking forward to having much better discussions, particularly with the community board and the community board chairs around those in the future. Thank you.
Thanks, Martin. And we'll come to Terry 2 seconds, but just and you've hit the nail on the head, Martin. There is a wider discussion here. There is a wider discussion that's going to happen as part of the representation review. Today, really all we're doing is confirming that we are carrying on with the current terms of reference, unchanged, apart from that discretionary budget amount. Sorry, we'll go to Aileen and then to come to you, Terry.
Yeah, so just a point following on from what Councillor Martin was saying, the thing that Angela Jane articulated really well, that I've been trying to but not been able to articulate the way she did, was that what happens in the community board is actually an interplay between the terms of reference, the way we do our rating, and what was the third thing? There was a third thing that influences that. Anyway, sorry, it's an interplay between a bunch of things that then results in how the community board operates, and she says it quite well in the report there. So it's kind of like we have to line up. It's almost like we need an overarching strategy across those. Oh, the contracts. Sorry, that was the third thing. Yep. So the way we do our contracts, which come, our 17A reviews that we do, it's almost like we need an overarching policy across the top of what we're going to do in our rating review, how we manage our contracts, and what the terms of reference of the community board say. So it's a bit more complicated than just change one piece and everything drops out. Those three things have to connect together.
Thanks, Aileen. Terry?
Yes, just thank you for the information. It was very informative to look back at that time, and I agree with Aileen saying that Angela Jane really got the words across, I thought, very well. I support the additional discretionary fund. We're oversubscribed every year by 50%, so anything we can help to support those clubs and groups to continue, I think is fantastic. A couple of points that came out of that terms of reference was around the wording around libraries and saying that they're not district libraries, and I think taking that district word out of there and out of the Thames Pool district, it kind of makes sense. So I thought that was clear those two matters up, but the direction I thought was great, and the terms of reference continuing, I support 100%.
Thank you, Terry. Okay, we've got a mover for this, for the recommendations in front of us, which was Councillor Grant. Could I get a seconder, please? We'll take the whole block. It was Robin. Your name's not Councillor Grant. It was Robin. I'm sorry about that. Councillor Grant was a previous one. Seconder, please. Peter, thank you. All those in favour?
Aye.
My deepest and sincerest apologies.
I want to clarify, I'm not moonlighting under the name Grant at all.
Thank you so much. Okay. Item 2.3, appointment of representative director to Waikato Local Authority Shared Services Limited, which is CoLab. I'll ask Aileen just to give us some background on this, please.
Yeah, so hopefully this is a very straightforward procedural action, but the background to it is that we are a shareholder in what is called CoLab, which is a play on the word collaboration. It's a local authority shared services company, and the representation of it is that it has an independent chair, and it has three members, chief executive of council, sitting on that board. We get to have one for the three authorities, Mata Piako, Ariki and us. Previously, Rob Williams sat on the board of CoLab. More recently, we've had a little bit of a complicated thing happen where Western Bay bought into the company by buying the shares off Taupo, and so they've come in as a member of as an owner of the company. So when Don stood down from Matamatapiako, the email went round the three of us going, right, well, who's it going to be? And nobody jumped to say they'd do it. So John Holyoake said, okay, well, I'll do it on behalf if you like. We met with him and sort of semi-interviewed him to make sure that we thought he was a good appointment. He's shared his CV with us, which he's got quite a strong background in being on boards, as well as being the CEO of Western Bay of Plenty. And I guess at the end of the day, neither Langley or I were prepared to put our hand up to do it. So he's kind of it unless somebody has a better idea. Which I don't say that unkindly. He's more than up to the role. So that's our recommendation, is that as a shareholder, we appoint him as our representative. Yeah. The other two councils will be facing similar decisions, but I think in the case of Hauraki, it's actually delegated to the mayor to make the decision. But Matamatapiako will be having a similar report to the agenda.
Thanks, Aileen. And just a correction, it is Western Bay of Plenty District Council, not Waikato Bay of Plenty. So on item 2 in the recommendations, it's Western Bay of Plenty.
I'd like to move.
Terry, thank you. Was that you, Terry, or Gary?
Me, yeah.
Terry, thank you.
So Terry, yeah.
Mover in the shape of Terry. You sound terrible, by the way.
I know, I'm coming right. I'm coming right. Alcohol helps.
That's on the public record. Thank you. Could I second it, please? Deli, all those in favour?
Aye.
Aye.
Thanks, Aileen. Item 2.4, Ariki Tahi, Sugarloaf, appointment of council's shareholders representative. Donna's still in the hot seat. So,
Yes, I've must be my split personalities, I think.
It must
coming
be.
through.
Don't say that, you'll jinx it. Right, I'm on the wrong page here. Donna, yes. Over to you, please.
Yes, so through the chair, this is just to reappoint me as the shareholders representative to Ariki Tahi Sugarloaf Wharf Limited. Normally, it would be the chief executive that had this role, but with the fact that Aileen is on the board, there would be a conflict with that. And so this role is really, I'm your representative at the shareholders meetings and things like that, to be able to vote on your behalf and take anything back, any resolutions that you've made in regards to Sugarloaf back to the shareholders board. It also gives me, I also sign things on behalf of you, which would be like they're looking at the annual report, the minutes and stuff like that. So really just to renew that.
Thank you, Donna. Could I get a mover and a seconder to receive this, please? I'm
happy to move.
We have John and we've got Robin. Thank you, Rebecca, but services not required at this point. Thank you for your enthusiasm. Discussion, Peter, please.
Yeah. Donna, do you want to do this?
Yes, I don't mind doing it.
I just want to say I think it's really critical. It's a really critical thing. I mean, the whole thing about Sugarloaf is critical for us as a district. You are representing us as councillors there. I have no question about your competence and your ability, but I want to feel that this is something you want to do.
Yes, that's fine. I'm happy to do it.
Thank you. Any further questions? All right. Did we get a mover in a second? Okay. All those in favour? Thank you. Thanks, Donna. We're doing well on our schedule. I might suggest that rather than break for morning tea, we crack into it and get some work done. All right. Item 2.5, Destination Hauraki Coromandel Review Findings. Okay. And because we're ahead of schedule, Ari's just gone to find Jessica. She's coming. Thanks, Ari.
Expression of interest on. Yep.
You want to jump ahead to 2.7?
Yeah.
Okay.
We may
Okay.
item 2.
So we'll jump ahead to item 2.7, expressions of interest for Thames Visitor Centre, because we've caught some folks on the hop here. So Thames Visitor Centre, item 2.7, please.
What page is that, Len? Sorry, I'm just running my iPad, so I haven't got an index.
230, Terry.
Thank you.
Okay. Can I get a mover and a seconder, please, to receive this? Thanks, Peter. And a seconder, Deli, thank you. We'll wait for, who's presenting this, Mitch? And Kirsten? Lorna? Welcome. Lorna, just push a button, please, and same with you, Mitch.
Morning.
Hi, thank you.
Oh, so we're doing the aquaculture one first, or the?
No,
2.7.
Thames Visitor Centre.
Yep. So this is, we'll tell you the report is read. It's fairly straightforward. Are there any questions? It's we're appointing a contract for the Thames eyesight, and there was an expressions of interest process. There were 4 applicants. There was really one clear candidate or applicant. That was the Thames Business Association. They are looking to move into the site where the information centre was previously, which is the current office of Destination Hauraki Coromandel, where there have been discussions around how that's going to work in the future.
Sorry, Mitch, could you a little bit closer to the mic, please?
Sure, my apologies.
Thank you.
Through the chair, I'll just add that with the contract with Destination Hauraki Coromandel for the lease, that will be coming back as a second report, separate report, once this decision's made by the council today.
Peter, please.
Are we able to request just a view from the Thames Community Board Chair at the meeting?
I'm very happy to do that. Adrian. Pull it up closer. You don't use to.
Thank you, Worship. I was just looking at the agenda we have here, and whilst you say it was a closely fought race, I see, which we didn't have, the rated numbers on here. So we never had that in our meeting. So you got rated 151, 151 for both of them, so it's even. My only concern, and I'd like to ask council how they feel about it, in discussion with the Thames Business Association, they spoke of looking for another place other than the one they stipulated in their ROI. And I was a bit disgruntled about that, and I just wondered what the council felt about it, and is the obligation to go to that area, to the old information centre.
Yeah, so they've recently just viewed the site in the last couple of weeks, and all indications are that they're going to take the Civic Centre site. So okay. They're happy with that location.
So in that case, we fully endorse the fact that the Thames Business Association will take it. We just need to work out whether the Thames Business Association is going to be the rulers of the information centre, and therefore the contracts with them, or is the information centre with being only volunteers? So is that how you intend it to work, the Thames Information Centre?
I guess the applicant is the Thames Business Association, and they would hold the contract with council, there'll be some key performance indicators that they have to meet. We're happy to come back to the community board and workshop those.
That's important to keep the feet to the fire. So we want to make sure that we don't go through another year like we've just had.
Yep.
Thank you.
Thank you, Adrian. There'll be a separate report coming to council about the lease. Will that cover things like the preparation and fit out of the site, and who pays for that?
Yes, it will.
When's that due?
That will come to the June meeting.
June. Okay.
Sorry, we'll talk to governance about timeframes, but it needs to, in terms of moving them in and moving the other people out, there will be a little bit of time overlap. So what we're hearing from the business association is that they may not be fully operational till the end of July, early August. So we will be bringing a report anyway about the lease and how that will work through to council ahead of that. We are saying that there's no cost to council at the moment around how that's going to be progressed and changed.
There is no cost to council?
To the move, no.
Who pays for the fit out?
Again, that's in discussions because there is some stuff that Destination Ariki Mandel may be able to leave to the new incoming group. So again, it's a work in progress about how that's negotiated.
Okay, we'll look forward to that. John, please.
Thanks very much. I see this as a community board activity and very happy to support and endorse their support behind it. The question that I have is, over the last year or so, we've seen the development of business associations around the Coromandel. Is this a preferred option for other sites as well? Is this a bit of a flag or an indication of something you'd like to see?
I think each community will really needs the solution that best suits them, and some of the other information centres are operating really well independently, and there might be opportunities for them to collaborate more closely with the business associations, or possibly in the future be amalgamated, but really that's up for those organisations to determine themselves.
I sort of understand that. I guess, but it is a little bit loaded from the point of view of just the challenges that those associations have from a funding point of view, yep. And whether this is a mechanism that, whilst it can be in reverse of a mechanism to help fund it, it's a means of being able to have an activity that sort of pulls it together. So.
Yep, it's a really interesting view. Yep.
Yeah, I agree. Thank you, Councillor Grant. Any further questions? Okay. Mover and a seconder, please. Okay, all those in favour?
Aye.
Thank you. Thanks, Mitch. Thanks, Lorna. Thanks, Kirsten. Okay, so we'll go to item 2.6, Waikato Regional Aquaculture Strategy, which is on page 217. Mitch, hang in there if you don't mind. Okay, some interesting reading in here. It's really fascinating industry, and obviously very, very important for the district. Over to you, Mitch.
Sure. So this piece of work has been a long time in the making, actually, and it was really born from a hui that we hosted a couple of years ago, and here in Thames, where there was quite a bit of discontent in the industry with the service they were receiving, or the relationship with the regional council. And there was at that time a draft regional council aquaculture strategy, and there was a shared view that the strategy needed more industry engagement, and that's what's been occurring over in between that time, and it led to the establishment of the Waikato Regional Aquaculture Group, which the Regional Council fund a chair for and administer. And the chair is doing a great job. And through that forum, the original draft strategy was revised, and that's how we've ended up with this document today.
Thanks, Mitch. Lorna, anything to add on that?
Just that it has had involvement with other councils. It has gone to the Waikato Regional Council Committee and been endorsed. This is an important piece of work for our council, as Mitch has alluded to, because we've got two pieces of coastal infrastructure that is really important to help with enabling this strategy. There is more work around land-based infrastructure that can be investigated. And as you're aware, there is a lot of consents that have just been approved for water space around the district, Fin Farm and Buspat Farm, around the Coromandel. So this is really important for us as a district.
Thanks, Lorna. Robin and then Peter, please. And then Deli.
Thank you. This is good. I'm happy to endorse it. Just thinking about that workshop that was held in August 2022, that initial stakeholder engagement, and I've had a couple of people who attended that ask me questions about, what's happened with that. It was a few years ago now. Because we have this list of interested people, I know that this, we're just endorsing this document, but is it worth reaching out to those initial people who arrived, came along, gave their time in August 2022, just say, look, this is what we're up to, this is what the update is. Because particularly if they're already feeling like they haven't had good communication from the regional council, it might be really good for us to do that.
Absolutely. Yep.
Thanks, Robin. Peter, please.
Yep. Thanks for this. I was really pleased to read this strategy document. I think it is very exciting. And Lorna, you point out that it's important because we have two key bits of infrastructure, and I assume you're referring to Sugarloaf and to the Kopu. I have some concern that we have not, and I'm happy to be told I'm wrong, but I'm slightly concerned that we haven't done much thinking about what is our strategy around the Kopu Wharf, given that it's now, a month away from completion. The last thing we want to see is just a wharf sticking out into the water for years and years and years and nothing happening to it. And I'm just wondering what the link is between that bit of infrastructure, the strategy, or whatever the strategy is, to ensure that we do monetize the wharf.
I'll just start by saying that there has been a lot of pre-planning around this, around an operational management agreement, and I'll probably defer to Aileen in that respect as to how there is progress being made as in another part of business unit, which we're helping to support. There is a lot of activity down there already, and it's about helping to grow those businesses. We're working on an investor prospectus to help with how people get more aware of the opportunity down there. Understanding that there is some land available and there is other land that could be unlocked, which will take further time. So that is about more strategic planning in the future.
You wanted to add?
I don't think Peter was getting at operational matters. I think it was more about how we're promoting the opportunity. And this document actually is a really good way of promoting the opportunity. But take your point, there's a whole load of potential that's currently untapped and perhaps undercooked in terms of people's understanding of what we have there and the opportunity ahead of us.
Deli, thank you.
Great piece of work, really exciting and very pleased to see there are environmental concerns raised there as well, around microplastics and stuff like that, that there's an eye on that side of it. The thing that I endorse it completely. The thing that concerns me is, we went out on the mussel barge, Coromandel Town, and hand in hand with the expansion in our aquaculture industry, is there any way we can support those companies in terms of some of our policy that says, yes, you can put tiny homes on wheels on a block of land or whatever? You know, there is that strategy group at the moment that's working nationwide to try and get policy so that you can go from one council area to the other and just pay a fee to hook up to services or be self-contained or I see this is fantastic and it's great for the economy, but how, rather than existing on its own, how do we access our other levers to make it easier for those companies to employ people and put them in housing? You know, whereas they might have a block of land that says you can't have more than one rateable unit on this property, how can they get 5? You know, that sort of thinking, I think, needs to go hand in hand with this.
You raise a really interesting point, and absolutely, when you speak to industry, housing for staff is a really important issue, and council does have a role to play in being enabling for housing development. So some of those might be short-term solutions, others take a little bit longer. And I guess that's the real benefit of having a district council, regional council, industry, the science people and the environmental people all working together through the Waikato Regional Aquaculture Group. So you've got you know, all the right people there who can work on the elements, all of the elements that will support a thriving industry.
Could I just add to that? So on page 229, there's actions 1 to 5 under outcome number 4. Those are really key for us to deliver to those to help this fly. And under item 5, it doesn't mention housing, but identify land use provisions. That's in the district plan. So that's where I would be aiming at for us to be doing our piece, and that's through our district plan review. And you'll be facing decisions around that in the coming weeks around what our 10-year plan looks like around district planning. But my suggestion would be that it's actually a key thing we can enable the aquaculture industry through.
Aileen's right. At the moment, the industry has seen a huge increase in the amount of on-water space that is available for them to develop, and particularly with the finfish farming on the horizon as well. But there hasn't been an expansion of the land use, on land for them to use for their industrial purposes. And so they're quite constrained when it comes to all the activities that need to happen on land to support the aquaculture sector.
Can I just also, through the chair, just add in one piece just about workforce development? So one of the things as well is looking at who we have in the district, what skills they have, and how we can support them to be working in this sector. And that's bringing our young people through, and what sort of training development that can enable as well. So as people who are actually captured here already, living with their family as well.
Thanks, Lorna. Thanks, Mitch. And look, this the second or third time this morning that the concept or the work around district plan and regional planning and spatial planning has come up. I think it's really, really topical. And certainly as far as the regional council is concerned, we have seen a paradigm shift in their thinking, and the next Waikato Mayoral Forum that happens has been specifically organised for Waikato Regional Council at their request to present regional spatial planning to the Waikato Mayoral Forum. So it's something that, because they're involved in this, they're taking really seriously. We've already seen a commitment, or we're seeing a commitment on the part of this council for spatial planning, and I think that is all a really integral part of how we plan and design what needs to be where, and we make community decisions rather than just ad hoc stuff. So you're going to see a deliberate focus at regional level and at our council level as well on integrating these solutions. Thank you. Right, if there's nothing further, do we have a mover and a seconder? We don't, do we? All right. Can I get a mover and a seconder for this? Peter, please. John, Grant, please. All those in favour? Thank you. I'm going to suggest, because we have got ahead of time and we're waiting on folks, I'm going to suggest we break for morning tea now to give the people that we need to have in item 2.5 time to get here. So let's have morning tea now. Yes, so we are still
a morning
waiting.
tea break would be great.
Yep, okay, thank you. Just to give time for 10:30, please. So we'll take a break, come back at 10:30, and then we'll be all set to go.
For those online, they've got that.
Terry, you got that? 10:30? I don't know what.
Yes,
what,
thank you.